Welcome to this video on setting up your commission plans. Setting up your commission plans will help you automate the process when you make commissions for each transaction. In order to get to commission setup, click Setup in the top right-hand corner. And once you're in Setup, make sure you're under the Systems tab and go all the way to the right, click Commissions. Here we will be able to make our commission plans and then assign those plans to our agents and teams. We'll go over the agents and teams at the end of the video. In order to add a new plan, go ahead and click this button right here. During this video, I'll go over a plan that has already been created, this one right here, two-tier plan, just to show the functionality of the system. When creating a new plan, make sure that you input the plan name, the cap amount, and the cap period. This plan will drop off after the office receives $400,000 during the cap period. The anniversary depends on the start date of the agent or team. You can choose the specific period that your office uses for your caps. We'll click Save. Now in order to add plan items, you can click the drop down in the left-hand side of the plan, and here we'll be able to see all the items inside of this plan. As you can see, we have a 60/40 and an 80/20 item, and then we have 2 flat fees. Let's review the details in each one. While your plans may be different, the functionality of the system is the same. We'll start with the 60/40 plan. The default account is commissions income. However, that can be changed by clicking on the drop-down and selecting the account needed. Since this particular item doesn't have a flat fee, we will leave this line blank. However, it does have a percentage to be taken out of 40%. This means that the office will receive 40%, and that percentage is taken out of whatever is selected here. In this case, it's the gross commission income. You can also choose the sales price or the running fee total from this plan. We'll stick with the gross commission income. You can also set a min or max amount per transaction that the office can receive. In this case, we have a minimum amount of 200. Similar to the plan caps, you can set an item cap amount. Here's a theoretical item cap. We have $40,000 for each half year. Okay, the plan cap criteria is important because this is how you will be able to get plan items to drop off. For example, if we want the 60/40 plan to be implemented right at the beginning, until the office has received $70,000 from the transactions of this agent or team, then they will use this plan. Once the office receives any more than the $70,000, this plan will no longer be effective, and the agent or team will graduate to the 80/20 plan, as we will see in a second. We'll want to make sure that this checkbox is checked as long as we want these fees to be accumulated into the plan cap. If we want to override the plan cap and pay this even after it is reached, then we can click this checkbox, and then we click Save. As you'll notice, the 80/20 setup looks pretty similar to the 60/40 item. However, we have the office receiving 20% instead of 40. Still to the gross commission income, we have the minimum amount, and then we have the plan cap criteria. The minimum amount is $70,001, because if you remember in the previous item, we had it going until 70,000. So this picks up right where the previous left off, and then it will keep going with no restrictions. We'll include in the plan cap and save this. Okay, now we have a couple flat fees, as you can see. So these aren't going to be based off of a percentage, but they are a standard flat fee. In this case, $225. The default distribution of this fee is by commission percentage of the agents. However, if we want to split that fee evenly among agents, or we want to apply that fee to all the agents, then we can click those. We'll see that in another example. Okay, and then we click Save. Notice I didn't include this one in the plan cap. Okay, now let's look at the admin fee, which is a $50 fee. But let's say that I want to apply this $50 to every agent that participates in the transaction. In this case, we'll want to select Apply to Each, and so each agent will be charged $50. Click Save, and now our two-tier plan is ready to go. Now let's go in and attach this plan to our agents and teams. So if we have, let's go to Lisa right here. She doesn't have a plan attached, so yeah, let's edit her, and we can select the two-tier plan. Make sure that the start date is correct, so I'm going to choose 2018. Click Save. So as you can see, the system's telling us that Lisa's on the two-tier plan. Her start date is December 31st, 2018. and she's going to be ready to go. Now, also be sure to note that when we assign plans to agents and teams, they aren't locked down and set in stone. You can always change that later if you want to choose one of your other plans. Okay, now that we're in teams, let's go ahead and assign this Francis Rockwell team to the two-tier plan, which is the same principle as we've done before. Switch it to two-tier and save. Also, before we close this training video, let's go over what these three fields mean here. If you want to, let's say on this team, we want to override the plan cap, the two-tier plan cap, we can put in a new number. Let's say if we want to do 1 million, and this would make a new plan cap overriding what was in the plan setup. We can also say that this team had a starting cap value of some number or a starting transaction count for transferring mid-year. Okay, and after doing all that, all of your plans, agents, and teams should be set up and ready to go to create your first commission. The next video will go over exactly how to do that. And if you have any questions, please reach out to us at support@fuser.com. Thank you.